Happening now, breaking news, center of hell. The strongest hurricane ever recorded is about to slam into a popular tourist hotspot, Hurricane Patricia, described by weather officials as a catastrophic Category 5 storm. Millions of people, including many Americans, are in the path. I'll talk to one man who flew into the center of the storm. American extremists. The FBI director reveals that of its 900 investigations into suspected homegrown violent radicals, the majority are ISIS-related. And now, CNN has learned that the son of a leading Hollywood director has joined terrorist forces. How many Americans has ISIS already recruited? Hill tops. Hillary Clinton strengthens her lead in the Democratic race for the White House, rising in the polls as Joe Biden opts not to run and more competitors drop out. And now she's back on the campaign trail, fresh from her grueling appearance before Congress. Did her marathon testimony boost her campaign? Trump flops. Donald Trump falls behind in the polls in a key early state, while Jeb Bush is forced to cut salaries and campaign staff. But Ben Carson is gaining in the polls and out with some powerful new ads. Is he now the man to beat in the GOP race? We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We're following the breaking news. The strongest hurricane on record, barreling right now toward one of the most popular Pacific resorts, Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. Patricia is a monstrous Category 5 storm, packing sustained winds of 200 miles an hour. Officials are warning the storm surge alone could be catastrophic, and Patricia also could dump as much as 20 inches of rain, triggering flash floods as far away as Texas. And there's more breaking news. A disturbing revelation by the FBI director, who now says the vast majority of the 900 investigations into suspected homegrown violent extremists here in the United States are ISIS-related. And now we've also learned that the son of a well-known Hollywood director has joined terrorist forces. I'll speak with the ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Eliot Engel. He's standing by. We'll also get into all the other top stories with our correspondents, our analysts, and our guests. But let's get straight to Puerto Vallarta right now. CNN's Martin Savage is there in Patricia's path. Martin, how have conditions so far worsened?
You can feel it, Wolf, and it's almost a minute-by-minute incremental thing. The rain now is beginning to really start to come down. You can tell that the temperature is dropping and the winds are beginning to pick up. Most of all, what you can feel in this town is the sense of fear, and there's very good reason for it. Just because of what you described, a storm like no other that has been seen in this area and many other places. They're trying to be prepared, but they've had so little time to get ready. That's the problem. This storm intensified from a tropical storm to a major hurricane in about 24 hours or so. For an emergency planner, it's the worst nightmare. A huge city full of tourists, full of people, right on the waterfront, and now facing a storm the likes of which it hasn't seen. This community, this town, this area holding its breath, and many people just praying it won't be a direct hit. Well,
Martin, talk about the evacuations. Have the tourists been able to get out?
They have, to some extent. I mean, I can't say for all tourists. What I can tell you is that they began closing down the hotels and evacuating tourists. In fact, originally, we were going to be at a hotel. We found out early this morning that they were evacuating everyone there. They're either being taken to places like larger cities away from the coast, such as Guadalajara, or they're being taken to shelters and schools that have opened up reportedly in the mountains. So, in theory, yes, the tourists are being taken care of. There was very little time if they wanted to fly home because the airport began to close down and the weather began to move in. They are standing by. They are ready. Federal police are in the streets. The streets are pretty much deserted at this point. The stores are closed. Nothing's open. People are just waiting, Wolf, to see what's going to happen. And this storm is getting incredibly near. Well,
be careful over there, Martin. We'll stay in close touch with you. Our meteorologist, Jennifer Gray, is tracking this monster storm for us over at the CNN Hurricane Center. Jennifer, obviously a very serious situation unfolding. How close to landfall is it?
Well, if this may make landfall during your show in the next 2 hours, it's very close to making landfall. And this storm, when it makes landfall, will have stronger winds than Andrew, Katrina, Camille. This is going to be historic, and it's going to possibly be catastrophic for whatever area, whatever village is right in the path of that eye when this makes landfall in the next couple of hours. Winds right now 190 miles per hour. That is from the latest advisory that came out about 5 minutes ago. Gusts of 235 miles per hour. That's stronger than an F5 tornado, or just as strong as an F5 tornado, I should say. It is moving to the north-northeast at about 14 miles per hour. This storm is going to push inland very quickly. By 11 o'clock tonight, it is going to be well inland, and it is going to be at Category 3. Look how far inland it is, and it's still maintaining Category 3 status. And then once it enters this real mountainous terrain across Mexico, it is going to weaken to a tropical storm. This is going to be devastating in form of winds, also storm surge, as well as the rains, the mountainous terrain. We are going to be looking at major flooding and possibly landslides across Mexico. So the forecasted rainfall totals, Wolf, we're looking at anywhere from 10 to 20 inches right along the coast. And then once you head inland, we'll look at about 6 to 10 inches, give or take, some areas even higher.
And just for comparison's sake, Jennifer, if it's 190 miles an hour when it makes landfall in the next couple hours or so, remind our viewers what Hurricane Katrina, when it made landfall along the Gulf Coast in the United States.
Well, we know the Gulf Coast was devastated, you know, and not only because of the winds, we had the major storm surge, and we know that in New Orleans, those levees were breached, and so that just added to the flooding. But if you remember, all across the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, we saw devastation. We saw brick homes that were completely flattened. And so not only the winds, but when you have that wall of water come through as well, it could be the same type of damage that we see from very strong tornadoes. And so that's why you don't want to be along the coast right now. I know, as Martin was saying, that people didn't have a lot of time to evacuate, but hopefully people are away from the coast and they are in a very, very sturdy building, because we're going to be looking at damage similar to a very strong tornado right around that eye wall.
And Patricia eventually is going to make is going to hit Texas in the United States. What do they expect there?
Well, Patricia will hold on to that moisture, and as you can see from the water vapor, moisture is already streaming into portions of Texas. It will no longer be tropical. It's not going to be a tropical storm. It's not going to be a hurricane, but we will hold on to a lot of that moisture. We've already seen a lot of rain in Texas. We are going to continue to see additional rainfall as this moisture is pumped in to South Texas. So anywhere from Houston all the way through Dallas, even the whole country of Texas, and then pushing into portions of Louisiana, we could be dealing with flooding. In fact, already are seeing flooding around the Dallas area, even south of Dallas. We've seen a flood emergency in place in the last couple of hours. And so we're going to be dealing with very heavy rain across the south for the next several days, Wolf.
A real disaster unfolding. Let's hope for the best, Jennifer. Thank you. We now have someone on the phone who flew through this hurricane, Hurricane Patricia. Captain Chase Allen of the U.S. Air Force Reserve is joining us on the phone. You were the pilot for this mission, Captain. Have you ever flown through a storm of this intensity?
Personally, no. I've flown through storms that had some pretty bad turbulence, but none to this caliber. This was probably the worst for me. Definitely bumpy ride the whole time for us there.
Well, describe, Captain, what it was like inside your aircraft.
Well, you know, when it's a big storm like that, we're anticipating a lot of turbulence and strong winds like that, especially with the storm being closer to land. It's all business, and we really utilize all of our crew members, work together, and whatever task we're working at hand, we try to focus on what's going on at the time and just back each other up the whole time, really.
And when you're flying through the storm, what's your altitude?
We flew it at 10,000 feet for this fixed mission.
Is that low or high, given the enormity of this storm?
That's as high as we normally fly a fixed mission storm. We can do it as low as 5,000 feet, but with the winds being where they were, our criteria is if they're over 80 knots, then we're going to plan to be 5,000 at least. And then when you have that moderate turbulence or above, then we're required to be at 10,000 feet for safety issues.
This hurricane has developed so quickly. 24 hours ago it was a tropical storm. Now it's a Category 5 hurricane with winds up to 200 miles an hour. So that, I assume, that makes this even more dangerous because there really was no great preparation for this.
Right, absolutely. And even we weren't expecting the winds to be that high when we were coming up for the storm, and even when we were briefing prior to flight time. So we were caught off guard a little bit, but we were able to handle it, and I guess it all worked out. But we were definitely caught off guard with the amount of turbulence and the 200-knot winds. That was a surprise for us.
Captain Allen, you're with the U.S. Air Force 53rd Reconnaissance Squadron. Will you be able to complete more missions like this as far as Hurricane Patricia is concerned?
Are you talking about just in the future?
No, I'm talking about the next few hours.
Our squadron is not currently tasked to fly this mission. I think NOAA's out there flying it again. And after that, I think it's going to be close enough to landfall where they won't be tasking any more planes to fly.
Well, I'm glad you did it safely, and I'm sure you got important information for all the folks down in Mexico. Captain Chase Allen of the U.S. Air Force Reserve, thanks very much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Up next, we'll have more, by the way, on this hurricane later this hour, but there's other major news we're following, including U.S. commandos. They've been battling ISIS forces on the ground in Iraq now for the first time, saving dozens of people who faced an imminent mass execution, but losing one of their own. Plus, the son of a well-known Hollywood director joins an Al-Qaeda-related group. What role is he playing in their brand new video?
Well, you can see here behind me, the remnants.
The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer, brought to you by the Discover It card, the card that treats you like you'd treat you.
I can't find my Discover card.
Wait, I can freeze my account.
Introducing Freeze It from Discover. It allows you to prevent new purchases on your account in seconds if your card is misplaced.
Not here.
And once you find your card, you can switch it right on again.
Hey, you're back.
Freeze It, only from Discover.